So, a couple of people have messaged me about Madeleine McCann for some reason. I don't know if it's their anniversary of her or whatever, or if it was the same person messaged me twice about what my thoughts were about her disappearance or whatever. And first thought that I had was the parents don't seem to be too cooperative with police, and they don't seem to be too sincere. And a lot of things, just there wasn't no real emotion from them. Like, it was like they already knew. I don't know. It's like they already knew she was dead. Something happened. What do I think happened? After researching it, and I put a little bit of time into it. I kind of feel like they were involved in some kind of like underground, like swingers club, but with other people's kids or something like that. I don't know. Something weird was up after all the research that I've done. Just the whole going to the bar thing and this, that, and the other thing, for those that are familiar, like they left their door open. Why would you leave your door open to go check on your kids? If you're going to leave your kids, you're going to lock them in the house. Number one, you're not going to leave. I would never leave newborn babies alone and for any fucking reason, and just, like you need, no one's going to the bar for dinner. You're going to the bar to drink. So what you're saying is you're going to drink and you're leaving your kids alone. So right there, you kind of got me a little bit pissed off already, right? The fact that they hired a PR firm, not only the biggest PR firm in the UK, they hired the PR firm that Margaret Thatcher used to use. And they paid over £500,000, I believe, which is equivalent of, I don't know what the fuck the equivalent is of it, but it's a lot of money, okay? How do I deduce that? Well, it's 500,000, so even if it's pennies, it's a lot of money. They just, when they were making their statements, they never were like, there was no sense of urgency. It just seemed rehearsed. If they paid that kind of money to a media firm, I can guarantee you that they were coached, and rehearsed, and they just seemed way too robotic about the whole thing. So I kind of feel like, was she drugged to stay asleep? Was she traded? Was something? I kind of feel like in the dog hit, cadaver dog that they used hit on the house, and I definitely feel like some foul play was involved. I don't know who killed her. If it was one of the parents, if she died because they were drugging their kids to get them to go to sleep, maybe she was a little rambunctious little toddler. Like, they were just very, like, emotionless, and icy about the whole thing. When they talk, it's like when I, just being around, being in this job and being a bouncer and just, being a corrections officer at one time and just being in front of people a lot. I know when people are being real with me, I know when a customer wants to get something for free, or I know when they're genuinely like, no, I don't want to get anything for free. I just want this, et cetera, to be better, or this to stop, or whatever it is. They just seemed way too, like, it was like they knew she was dead. It was like they were at peace with the whole thing. JonBenet Ramsey, man, I know, number one, no one's breaking into anybody's house and writing that, like, we used to go in abandoned buildings in Buffalo, and some of the first ones you go in, like, I would always have to pee immediately, you know what I mean, just from the nerves and the adrenaline and the, like, you would just, your hands would shake, like, no one's writing a letter, breaking into someone's house, listening, are they up, did they hear me come in, and they're gonna, I don't know if the brother, who's a little weirdo, did something. I think it's really weird that the whole, getting your kids to do that beauty shit. That's really weird. But yeah, I definitely think that Madeleine McCann was killed by somebody that she knew. I think there was. I think that the whole in order for this to be covered up by the police department in England and Scotland Yard and what they call Special Branch, which wow, that lighting is just fucking incredible over there. Jeez. I love the fucking lighting down here. Not the team, but the actual shit. One of my friends on here, Janet, said, "Do you think they can geoengineer lightning?" I'm like, I'm sure they can throw some shit in the clouds. You know. Back to this. If the police are covering this shit up and helping the McCanns, I really feel like the reason was because they could expose some shit. I really think the depths of the depravity of this whole situation were more than we'd ever be able to, really, see. Like I don't think we even know. Like when I tell people that, they were probably adults that were swingers, but what they would do would be sexually abuse other people's kids, because there was a lot of this behind the scenes, like people bathing each other's kids type stuff, like that I've watched in podcasts that I forget the guy or the stories, but they would go on holidays and people would take turns bathing all the kids out. I don't know, just weird shit that I don't even think people do in England. You know what I mean? It was just weird. I don't know. It's weird. So it's kind of like Michael Jackson. Like the guy was such a pedophile, that he built the fucking amusement park so they didn't have to go to one. You know what I mean? Like he built the amusement park there. I don't know about you, but if I was Michael Jackson and I could do whatever I wanted, I'd be getting a lot of girls or whatever you're into and a lot of drugs and chilling. You know what I mean? Like, flying to Dubai or going to the Bahamas or, going to New Zealand or just going some exclusive place with a bunch of bitches, and he's chilling with kids. So when people tell me that Michael Jackson wasn't a pedophile, I just really go, I've had a guy when I stayed at the Sex Offender Central, the hotel up here I stayed at. I had a guy, he was trying to groom me. He was giving me gifts and shit. And I was like, dude, I don't want any of this stuff. And then one day he goes, oh man, what kind of phone is that? I said, oh, it's an Android something. He goes, oh, I can show you how to watch porn on there if you want. And I just looked at him like, I think I got that figured out, dummy. But he was, trying to groom me. And, he's just a fucking weirdo, man. Like, it's just such a weird thing to have, this compulsion to have sex with kids. And another question somebody asked is, in that question with the McCann thing, do I think that sex offenders can be rehabilitated? I don't think our system is set up to rehabilitate them. That's between them and God. You know what I mean? I don't think, it's such an abnormal thing to do. I don't know. This is what I'm working with today. I want to show you my weather. This is what Buffalo, New York looks like all the time in the wintertime. All right.